I'm a Michigan constitutional crusader, rising up when the world goes cold. No badge can bring me, no chains can take me. Truth in my veins, a fire them bold. To fire them bold.
This is Michigan Constitutional Crusader out here at the Mundy Township offices for a Township Council Meeting. I hear it's supposed to be a interesting meeting tonight, so we'll see what happens.
I have a few comments and questions I'd just like to make, and if anyone up here could answer them later on in the meeting, that would be great. First off, it's been mentioned that 90% of Mundy Township residents are on well water, and I've heard before 80%. So I'd just like to know, which is it and where do you find the information? Number two, concerning the mega site, we all know the township cannot prevent anyone from selling their property, and we can't prevent them from buying the property that they sell. We also know that the MEDC gave a grant to FEGA to buy the property in the mega site. The FEGA has until May 2028 to fulfill the terms of the grant, so we've got about 2.5 years left for them to do whatever because they've got this grant money. So my question is, at the end of the grant term, if the terms are not fulfilled, who owns the property? Let's say they don't fulfill the terms of their grant. Who owns the property at that time? Maple Hill, FEGA, Mundy Township. Is there anything the township board can do to nullify the MEDC grant? Because that's the only way I can see that we can stop anything is to nullify the MEDC grant. So is there anything the township can do on that? And if the overlay had not been put in place over the mega site when the township learned of the plans by the state, would the FEGA, Maple Hill, or the MEDC been able to just go to the zoning board for zoning change, and would the board have had to say if that was the case, if there was no overlay? Look forward to your replies. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next public speaker.
The next on the list is Don Lumber.
Good evening, Mr. Ludwig.
Don Ludwig, 5141 Maple Avenue. I'm going to read this the best I can. So I would like to first start off with the Genesee Economic Alliance and their board update that's in the packet. Understanding where 2 days early on the Eagle permit, Tyler said that it was an error. How many redos do we get from the wetland violations to the 2 demolition permit violations on the church? They started on October 14th when they delivered all the machinery and dirt, and on October 16th the house was completely leveled and the basement was filled. So the 14th until the Eagle permit was approved on the 21st, that's 7 days early, not 2 that it says in the packet. My water issue, I have been in contact with an attorney and also a water consultant, and Tyler has agreed through email that we're going to discuss my water situation after Thanksgiving. As everybody's aware of the recall petition that's going on against Supervisor Jennifer, I think it's ridiculous, and I'm hoping it was not influenced by anybody on the board. I will stand with Jennifer to the end, and so will many others. I feel this is going to cause a rippling effect to our community and possible more recalls on other board members. Mr. Gordon said a few meetings ago, we need to heal as a community. We all need to come together as one. Everybody was nodding their head yes. I feel we were heading in that direction. I haven't been to too many meetings as I would like to, but the last few I've seen we're heading back in the wrong direction again. So tonight, let's get the trust back in the community. I urge somebody to consider the township manager's contract to remove the 5-2 votes and put it back 4-3 because nobody should be protected of their job in Michigan as a at-will state for employment. And that was a huge trust issue back when that happened a year ago, protecting with a 5-2 majority and 1 year's compensation salary if to let go. Let's hope the board does the right thing and starts making the right decisions to gain the trust of the residents again. It's time. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Next on the list is Nathan S.
Good evening, thank you for coming.
Evening. My name is Nathan, Mundy Township. Just a request slash question. Now that we're getting to the end of the season, snow's coming unfortunately, is there, and maybe the board's already considered this, if they haven't, I would ask that they do. With the mega site business, specifically on the southern border, so along Hill Road, along the east border, along Linden especially, about putting up snow fencing. Anyone who's been in the area for at least 1 winter know, especially on Hill Road, to the east of the mega site area, all that wind kicks up, especially without the snow fencing, it can really move that snow off the road. So with all the trees going down, that sort of thing, and getting more and more open field, would it be possible, I mean, the board may have already considered this, but if they haven't, we get some snow fencing put up, especially on the southeast of the area.
Thank you. Next speaker?
Next on the list is Gerald Rummers.
My name is Gerald Roberts. I live in Mundy Township, just adjacent to Miller Road and in Lindenwood Farms. I too am concerned about my water. Lately, my water has taken on a different smell to it. And I'd like to know if basically the Genesee Flint Alliance will come in and pay for water testing. They're responsible, in other words, for taking out all these houses. And it looks like Mr. Ludwig is now facing that too. I'm gonna switch boats in the middle of the stream. Understand today that our supervisor was informed by the Genesee County Clerk that there's possibility of recall for our supervisor. I stand in back of my supervisor. 450 people voted over and above the prior supervisor with regard to Jennifer's stand on the mega site and for the property owners. I think it's deplorable that anybody would file a recall on this stand. And that would mean that any one of you people, are you in support of Ms. Stanton? Are you? I thought that this board was starting to come together. Have one more thing. I see on the contract, or the thing with Mr. Chad Gooden's contract is up for you. It cost this board over $20,000 in legal fees for a frivolous lawsuit that Mr. Chad recommended. Mr. Young does not need an increase in his contract. If you renew his contract, leave it the same as it is, or maybe take off that $20,000 that it cost the township, in other words, for that frivolous lawsuit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Next speaker?
Next on the list is Cody Melton.
Hi, Cody Melton, Mar Central.
Good evening.
I came to this mega site thing like way late, you know, but wow, it's been pretty interesting. I mean, it's really been interesting because they say you don't really get involved in politics till it affects you. And I live over on Marseille Drive, also Parks and States, and they're trying to extend that out because you know you get the mega site, so you got to have a bunch of chives, so they're gonna put quads up there. But anyway, it's a different story. I guess the reason I'm saying this is because Jennifer, I'm sorry, I don't know how to address you, Mr. Supervisor, you're doing a fantastic job. The reason I'm here tonight is I heard about that recall thing, and I thought, wait a minute, we finally got somebody that we voted in for our side, and they're trying to get her out of there. I don't like that. I'm going to the meeting. And then I thought to myself, I went to that other meeting over in Flint where we had that big mega site Mundy Township thing with them two slimy politicians and that lady over there. And I don't remember seeing, I saw some of y'all there. I told you I came to this thing late. I don't remember seeing all y'all there. I don't think it was faces. I mean, because if it was good enough for me to get involved in it, surely my town supervisors would get involved in it, right? We won't show of hands, see a show of hands of who went there or not. I'm assuming you did. Because I know you're interested in what our township is doing. So, anyway, Jennifer, I'm here for you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Next speaker.
Next on the list is Rhonda Miller.
Good evening, Ms. Miller.
Thank you, Rhonda Miller, Mundy Township resident. I came today because I was made aware of recall petitions filed against Jennifer. And the residents of this township voted her for a reason. She's transparent, which a lot of you on this board are not. We respect that. You know, this whole mega site issues have caused so much destruction in this township. And we all need to come together, and this just seems like, you know, retaliation against her for standing up for herself and all of the residents here. It's unbelievable. Even that she would have to go through this. Unbelievable. I'm sorry, Jennifer. You know, Chad, wasn't it you who, testified before the subcommittee stating that the township was plotted to get an additional $10 million if Sandus came to and moved in at the mega site area, which your current budget is just under $8 million. So I'm wondering, as a resident, how much you were slotted to get an increase in pay raise and what additional benefits you would have gotten. And you say that now, but I guarantee you would have requested more. And I agree with Don, I think the votes should be put back the way it was, so it's fair. You know, the people should be deciding who's up here and who we want to represent us. And I wish you all good luck, but, you know, to retaliate against members of this board is ridiculous, it's immature, and all it does is, you know, make the township look worse. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Miller. Next speaker.
Next on the list is Joanne Mindy.
Welcome, Ms. Mindy.
Joanne Mindy, Marsack Drive. First comment quickly is, as the board reviews the CMOM sewer agreement, I think it should pay attention to the proposed mega site because that's a 10-year agreement, and I didn't notice any provisions in there to accept additional wastewater flow. And then again, there's a 10-year commitment, and didn't know if the mega site would be considered a hotspot, as they call it in that agreement. Secondly, I'm going to remind this board that an overwhelming majority of the residents who have participated in town halls, master plan surveys, or the master plan town hall, as residents participating during the public comment of these board meetings, do not want the mega site in the advanced manufacturing district. The FGEA stated at their update included in the EPAC that the development of the AMD site will bring thousands of good-paying local jobs and pump billions into the local economy. There is no published substantive basis for any of the FGEA promises outside of marketing hype. The board would gain tremendous support of the residents if they would address the negative implications of this fast-paced, overdeveloped site that has no buyer or need for existence. The mega-site development violates the expressed concerns of the residents regarding overdevelopment and maintaining the agricultural rural environment as noted in Circus. Has in its defense its publicly stated goal on their website. The goal of the township is to maintain a quality standard for residential development and has been responsible for this area being one of the most desirable and premier locations to establish a home, a residential home, which we all love the area that we live in. I'm requesting this board take two actions today. First, would this board please request the FGEA to present in their next update? 1, which prospective companies have been contacted in the last 30 days? 2, indicate how many jobs are being requested by the potential developer. Further identify how many of the jobs will be permanent, how many will require secondary, post-secondary degrees, how many will require postgraduate degrees, how many jobs will be attributed to construction only, how many will be developed in the first year and in the 5 years. Indicate the quantity and types of materials accepted by the Genesee County Habitat for Humanity. Secondly, I'm requesting the board request further training of the PC. As allowed by Article 3, Item 8 of the PC bylaws, I urge the board to request training for the PC board on the topic of measuring and monitoring disposal of PFAS and other toxic materials, planning for water use in semiconductor or data plants, recognizing the acceptable distances from semiconductor plants and data centers to develop residential areas. As you know, our grassroots group has made formal presentations to the township board and other institutions regarding what's involved in a mega site or data center development. For 3 years, we've educated ourselves on what's included, what are the ramifications, what toxic materials are used. I urge this board to request training of the PC board because they will be the ones reviewing the submitted site plan. If you can't make an informed decision because you don't know what's involved in a semiconductor plant or a data center or any other advanced manufacturing facility, how can you make an informed decision? It would also do well that once the board requests that of the planning commission, they attend those training sessions as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next on the list is Margaret Horton.
Good evening, Ms. Horton. First of all, I request that every word that Joanne said get entered into our meeting minutes so you can read them again and listen to what she has to say. It's very important. Next. Like Don said, we need to come together and work together, but you also need strong leadership. And it pains me to say this, but I don't agree with renewing Chad's contract. For these reasons. We've lost a lot of revenue because of the mega site. We're gonna be short on our income, the taxes that are coming in. Until we know how this is gonna impact our community, I think we should put a halt on any renewal of unnecessary contracts that are not essential to our operation. I also, because of this and lack of income, our school districts is going to really hurt. They depend on every penny that comes in, and they are now being deprived of the income that would have came from those homes on the mega site. If I was them, I don't know if they can sue you, but they're gonna be hurting. And so the residents of all the other townships are gonna suffer for this. So my other thing is lack of, conflict of interest. Now, I know you guys kind of sloughed it off, that the, planning committee had a conflict of interest by someone who signed a non-disclosure. If that person had not signed that non-disclosure or excused herself from the discussion, things could have changed, as other people have mentioned to you. Danielle, you yourself had displayed at the last meeting that you didn't totally understand what was going on as far as stepping down in a conflict of interest. Who's responsible for the training to make sure these people understand what their role is in this position? I'm not even sure Jennifer has gotten the complete training that she should have had. Also, signing of non-disclosures. Chad, did you not sign a non-disclosure enabling you to work with this group and advise them? That's a conflict of interest. Maybe you need more training. The total outcome of this whole mega site fiasco could have been totally different had these things not happened. So, well, Chad, I know you're a nice man, you have a beautiful family.
Thank you, Ms. Ford.
Thank you for signing this.
Now we'll open up the floor to any public comments. Anyone wishing to speak, you have 3 minutes where you may address the board on any subject you'd like. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Vicki Sturgis. I'm from Swartz Creek, your neighbor. I just want to know how many of you on this board is going to sell out your residence here in Mundy Township? How many? Anybody want to raise their hand if they're supporting this mega site? Right now, anybody? Or are you too scared to publicly say that you support it? And the destruction of this community, not just here in Mundy Township, but also in Swartz Creek, Clint Township, Grand Lake Township. Do you even care? Tanya Kessler, your previous supervisor, sold out the Mundy Township residents with a smirky face. That's what I get, huh? Well, you can wipe that smirky face right off your face. She did sell out Mundy Township. I asked her at a meeting right here in this office, or in this building, when she was the supervisor, why she supported it, because she did say she supported it. I asked her why, and you know what her answer was? Do you remember? Because most of you people were here at that meeting. You were sitting right in your little chairs. Her answer was because she was selling her house, and that she would be able to make far more money than it was worth. And she stated it right there in that chair right there. And you can't tell me that people didn't see that on the videos. And then she wonders why she got unelected. Because people know in their hearts that she sold out Mundy Township residents. There was a reason why Jennifer stood up and said, you know what, I'm not gonna stand for this. I'm gonna run for office, I'm gonna run for the supervisor. And I'm gonna do my best to be transparent to the people and listen to the residents of Mundy Township. And that is what she is doing. And if anybody on this board thinks that she's not, maybe you need to do some educating yourself. Or maybe just maybe, you're trying to sell out Mundy Township residents as well. If the truth be known, those that are opposed to Mundy Township and the mega site they need to stand up as well. If you believe in your community, you have a right and a duty to what you upheld when you did your oath of office, that you will represent the residents of Mundy Township. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sturgeon. Any other public comment? Good evening.
Good evening, Chad Moore, 5215 Cook Road. Just wanted to make a quick comment tonight. I went to the planning commission meeting, last week, and, during public comment, stated my concerns regarding the potential conflict of interest with the planning commission member. Sat through a 3-hour meeting. Neither did the chairperson nor the township attorney address. There was actually myself and one other person who brought to light that we would like to, I guess, the public wanted some explanation regarding the conflict of interest. Nothing was said at that meeting. I believe that there was some people on this board who, when I was trying to speak, said that, that I was at the wrong board and I was talking to the wrong people. Well, I still believe I'm talking to the right people, and hopefully tonight there'll be some discussion and there'll be some resolution regarding the conflict of interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Maury. Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Seeing no further public comments, we'll close public comments and we'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda. Board members, prior to tonight's meeting, you should have received in your board packet copies of all of the regular meeting minutes, the committee reports, fire department report. There was no Metro Police report, the finance report. There were a couple of letters included in Township Communications and the accounts payable report.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as it says. Support.
Moved and supported. I would like to be able to talk about this. Is there a motion? Any discussion?
The conflict of interest is mentioned here in our packet. And basically, Belser, because you had asked Belser to address this, and he had said that it was the planning commission, we had no power, basically, that it's in their bylaws, that they have to address it, and they didn't apparently address it when it was mentioned to them by the public the last meeting, so it appears like they're just gonna be dropping the ball. What do we do as a board for that?
That's not part of the consent agenda, but did you call them like we had asked from last meeting to this meeting and talk to Mr. Belzer about it?
And go to the letter to us.
Mr. Zach, I'm gonna stop you there. It is included in our consent agenda. It's right here. Do you not have the packet?
Oh, I got it, but it has nothing to do with.
It's in the consent agenda. Do you not have this in your consent agenda? So is it in the consent agenda?
It is in communications.
It's listed under township communications, so it's included in the township agenda packet.
Are we required to report it to the Attorney General if it's nothing is done?
Mr. Belzer, can you take this time to go over your report for us?
Sure, I can do that.
Thank you.
So, specifically, I mean, there's a bunch of different issues here, but specifically.
Remember talking to the next everybody.
Specifically for this board to address something from the planning commission by statute. And I cited that, it has to be in writing on written charges and conduct a public hearing. There are no, to my knowledge, nobody's done any written charges. The planning commission gets to do whatever they want. It was brought up in public comments. It was not an agenda item. The planning commission did not address it. But by statute, in order for this board to do anything, there has to be written charges and a public hearing. Of course, if you're gonna have a public hearing, the individual involved has the right to request a closed session, although you can't make the decisions there, but there, to my knowledge, there's no written charges, so
So if someone like Leah on our board was to wanna find out more, other than what you put in your report, from what you've seen, before we move any further, there's no actual conflict of interest because she sold her house well before the vote was made. What she voted on wasn't exactly part of her property, so.
right, all I know is what I've heard at these meetings. I don't know anything about any NDA, non-disclosure agreement. I don't know anything about that. It's been mentioned a few times. I don't know if there is one or isn't one. But, you know, it's no different than shopping at Myers. And if Myers comes before one of the boards, everybody that shops at Myers should disqualify themselves. Anytime you have a community in Mundy Township, everybody on this board is part of the township. And so that's why you do that, with planning commission or township residents. There's bound to be some knowledge about things that go on, but I don't see that there was a conflict because it was a done deal. That member could have voted just as well against unless there's something I don't know, and all I know is what's been presented publicly. But unless they were paid some money to vote some particular way, they could have voted against the matter before the planning commission.
If it has the appearance of being, impairing their ability to make an objective decision because of a financial interest, like property that she would be selling to the agency, organization, company who is asking for the trees to be removed on the mega site.
Well, again,
That
that was,
seems like a conflict, that's indirect or appearance of.
well, if you want to pursue it, you need written charges. This board has to do written charges for that individual, and then you can address it. But my view of all this was done before that matter ever went before the planning commission, so there was no financial interest in whatever the decision was. And that property that was before the planning commission did not involve her property. Again, all I know is what everybody's told me. But it appears that her property was not part of the property that was even before the planning commission.
I think that's just kind of a diversion, a deflection, because what it says in the bylaws is that if they have an interest, a financial interest with the company in question, in the motion, that
So-
it, so I mean, just.
I don't see that there was any financial interest in that.
For property.
What about who appoints these people? It's us, right?
Yeah.
And the supervisor had time, like, we could have technically changed who sat on that board. No.
When their
Because
terms up.
their terms up for so long.
Right.
They appointed all those people, the week before we were sworn in
And then they get 3 years.
during.
Well, not everybody, they have varied terms.
During
So there's
the-
never just a complete replacement of the whole board, so there's varied terms. Planning commission,
During the
CPA.
lame duck time, so between November 5th and November 20th is the lame duck. And, there were 5 existing board members replaced here on this board.
But what I'm asking, Jennifer, is we didn't have a chance to move any of these people because they had just been put in.
Correct. That was done by the previous supervisor after the vote on November 5th and before November 20th, which is the lame duck. And if nobody knows what the lame duck is, I urge you to look it up.
It's like tying the hands, one board tying the hands of another board coming in. That's unlawful too.
So, but I hear, sorry, Mr. Besser, it's hard to see down there on the end. I hear what you're saying, so you need written charges.
The board the statute requires written charges at a public hearing.
Okay, so does the board need to make a decision about bringing those written charges together?
Yes.
Okay, so how do we do that then if you're not wanting us to discuss it?
Well, I'm not saying, do written charges, so somebody can make a motion with, you know, providing whatever these charges are, whatever the statement is. If the board votes to do it, then you have the written charges and you set a public hearing.
But the written charges have to be specific to what the statute allows.
Right.
The statute only allows written charges in cases of malfeasance, misfeasance, or nonfeasance.
Right.
And the board has to make a finding in determining those are the written charges to move forward.
Right, you
So
can't
what's,
just-
so what's
Alright,
the
so-
board deciding, misfeasance, malfeasance, or nonfeasance, and why?
So here's what we'll do then. Prior to our next board meeting, I'd like to have both the letters from Mr. Belser and Mr. Young included in on our next board meeting. And I will go ahead and review the information and we can bring it back at the next board meeting.
Supervisor,
And I say this, hold on, I say this because Mr. Ward has been absent for our last two board meetings, and I asked him prior to the meeting tonight if he had watched our last two board meetings and had been apprised as to what's transpired, and he hasn't. So I'd like to give all of our board members the opportunity to review the information so that we're not coming to any rash judgment calls. And I will reach out later this week to two different board members, because we can't go above and beyond. And we will bring this back in our next board meeting under old business. And at that time, we can make a decision here on the board whether or not we're going to move forward with bringing any type of writ charges.
Madam Supervisor,
Yes, ma'am.
in the meantime, the trees are scheduled to be, cut in like December, early December, is it? So I even wonder, we wait on this, shouldn't, you know, that motion should be null and void. And the Supervisor?
Yes, ma'am.
Steve from the Planning Commission. I can just say that I don't believe in Mr. Belzer or Mr. Young, you can stop me if you're wrong. It wasn't a tie vote. I was the only no vote during that. So it wouldn't matter if the vote was there or not, it still would stand.
Who else should make a motion?
One of the other 6 people.
Also, that's why we asked if you called Chad between this meeting and the last, but I'm just saying, if you play this out and we look into it, there's no actual wrongdoing, even if it doesn't look right, from what we know.
Fortunately, I'm not an attorney. I know you're not an attorney because you work on the railroad, right? But,
You just read it, it's all right here.
so I don't think it's in our best interest to be making legal decisions. I think we need to get legal decisions made. We need to review the Charter Township laws, and we need to discuss this moving forward at another board meeting.
That's the opinion he made. Did you read it?
Yes, I did. And I'm going to refer once again that it would be fair for that all of our board members are apprised of the entire situation and to be able to bring him up to speed. So once again, because I don't think this is going to get resolved tonight, and I don't want to slander anyone's name out there, so we're not going to throw no names out there, but I'd like to see it come back to the next board meeting under old business, because it will be old business at that point in time. And we can review it at that point in time to see if there is any legal means that can be brought for written charges. Is that fair to the board?
Yes.
Mr. Ward, do you have anything that you'd like to?
Second, is it your motion?
We don't need a motion for it, so, moving forward, there's, approval of the consent agenda, is that good? Is somebody gonna put that on the agenda, or do I need to write that on the agenda for the next board meeting myself? I'm asking, are we good? Is that going to be put in the meeting minutes? Is the clerk? That I'm asking you, is it going to automatically be on the agenda, or am I going to need to write it in? I'm just asking. So I guess we'll write it in. so there's approval of the consent agenda on the floor. It was motioned and seconded. All those in favor of the approval of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Moving on to the announcements, the planning board met last week. They will not be meeting tomorrow night. The zoning board of appeals has been changed. There is a board meeting that is coming up for the zoning board of appeals. It is on 12/3 at 6 p.m. Master plan steering is still yet to be determined. I also want to state that our next board meeting is December 8th, and it is going to be at 10 a.m. This is that one time of the year where you get to come at 10 a.m. So bring coffee. The FGEA update, you've seen there's papers on the back table again. It was included in the board packet. Tyler has decided not to come again today, so I don't have anything to update anyone on as far as that goes. And then the rezoning case number 343, this is the second reading. Has everyone had a chance to review the rezoning for the ISD? For the ISD. Programs for the GISD and the, I call it Skill Center, because that's what I've always known it as. I can't ever remember the name of it. Career Institute, right? So it is of public interest, so it is a good, a win-win for everybody. I know there was, they've been over there during this week, they've got some equipment on site, so they're getting ready to tear those houses down as we speak, but that's a good thing, right? So it's been moved and supported. Any other discussion?
This is a condition of the zoning change to C4 Metropolitan Commercial. Future use of the above described property is restricted to educational and institutional uses such as schools, administrative buildings, classrooms, athletic facilities, or other related supporting uses.
All right. All those in favor, or do you want to do a roll call? Madam Clerk, do a roll call.
Thank you. Ms. Staton?
Yes.
Ms. Bostwick, yes. Ms. Barker? Yes. Mr. Gordon?
Yes.
Ms. Davis? Yes. Mr. Sack?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Thank you, passed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on to the ordinance 168-25, 2021 Fire Code. This is the first reading, so we're not going to be making any decisions tonight on this, but I would like to ask Chief Blight if you could come up and answer a couple questions for me real quick.
I thought I was gonna get away with it. You're a good man, Chief, you're a good man.
Welcome, Chief Blight. So I just wanted to touch bases with you on this. So this is the 2021 Fire Code. I just want to make sure that this code, does this include, and I know we've touched on this before, but for all those that are just sitting in and hearing this, and this is the first reading, I just want to make sure, is there codes in here that are going to protect us against the EV battery fires in cars? Does this address that issue for you?
Some of it does. I mean, we have now, all with the 2024 fire code. I see this as a big improvement from where we're at. You know, we're updated our code by 9 years, so that's gonna help us a lot. And I think that there's some of the things that we can see in the 2024 code that we can adopt by reference. So we can look at those things if we need to have those included in this 2021 code, we can do that. But I think it is important, and that's what we're faced with now. You know, electric vehicles, buildings that handle EVs and EV batteries, you know, all those charging sites, they're all can be issues to us. If they happen to build something like that in Mundy Township, then we've got something to stand on. But I think it's a great improvement just from where we're at, the 2012, International Fire Code, updating that to the 2021.
All right, so let me ask you this, so the proposal, let's just go with, they put in some EV charging stations at the Commons, right? So if there's a fire at one of those EV charging stations, is your department equipped to handle that fire under this new fire code
Yes,
in 2021?
and we've been around we've had several of those already in the township. I've viewed those, went down and talked to the people, the managers down there, to make sure that they're following the code, that they're protected, that they're stenciled, that we know where the disconnects are. That's important that the employees of those management places or place of business, that they know where they're at, they know how to shut it down before we would even get there. But yeah, any place that has adopted one of those charging stations, and we have several of those in the community, they're installed right. I haven't seen anything that is not being installed properly.
And I noticed you did make mention that this is the first time our fire code has been updated for 9 years? Is that what you said?
It was
9
the
years?
we were operating in the 2012.
Oh, wow, so we've made
So
some
we
improvements.
took a good step forward.
Are you comfortable with the 2021 fire code?
Sure. I mean, I'd like to see us go to the most updated code. I think that protects us best, but I see that this is for what they have to do, what we have to work with the Michigan Building Code and our building department, us working under the same code. I think that's a good improvement, so I'm satisfied with that.
Okay. Does anyone else on the board have any questions that they'd like to ask Chief Flood? I think he answered them pretty well. Do we even need to read the first reading?
No, this is before you tonight as an introduction, it will be published and before you at the next meeting where you can take formal action.
So everybody, before the next meeting, thank you, Chief Flood. I appreciate you. Before the next board meeting, if everyone could please review those fire codes, greatly appreciate it. It helps having Chief Floyd stand behind them and say that he feels confident in them, so that's why I asked him for his input. And then moving on to the preliminary final facts and petitions, seeing none. Attorney Jack Bowser, do you have anything that you'd like to convey to the board, Mr.?
Nothing additional, no, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Young, we're on to you.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor, to the board. Item A before you this evening is a contract for my position. I included a memorandum in the board packet. Each year following the budget approval process, the board undertakes a review and consideration for any changes to my contract. This year I'm asking for a modest increase only to compensation, amount of $2,500 annually, which is approximately a 2.325% increase over the prior amount. Answer any questions or concerns yet?
Madam Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion for no raise and to lower the threshold from supermajority to regular 4/3 vote on township manager contract termination to preserve the checks and balances and to prevent abuses of powers.
Why don't we do one at a time?
I'd like
You
to
wanna make it a 4-3 vote?
Yes, a regular majority, not a supermajority.
Could you repeat your motion completely?
I'd like to make a motion for no raise and to lower the threshold from supermajority to a regular 4/3 vote on contract termination.
Can we do one at a time? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I think we need to do them separately.
Okay.
So the first one, is that all that you want on the motion?
Yes,
You make a motion for no raise.
I make a motion for no raise.
Support.
Moved and supported.
I'm sorry, who supported that?
Mr. Sack. Madam Clerk, if you could do a roll call vote, please.
Just so we're clear, if we don't support it, we support the raise.
Make a motion for no raise. If you don't support it, then a raise, then you say yes or no. Wait, I'm so confused. Yes for no raise. I make a motion for no raise.
And so saying no means
We want the raise.
you want the raise. Thank you. Ms. Bostwick, no. Ms. Barker?
No.
Mr. Gordon?
No.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Sack?
No.
Mr. Ward?
No.
Interesting. Ms. Staten?
Yes.
Pass, thank you. 5-2.
I-
Ms. Davis, if you could go ahead and.
I'm sorry, can I interject real quick? I just want to clarify based on that vote, in order to effectuate the raise, the board does need to explicitly vote on that. It's not.
I'll make a motion to accept the contract with the raise, what was presented.
Support.
We've already, hold on, folks, we've already got another motion that was on the floor to remove the 2/3 majority vote.
Yes.
You guys made her
You guys
separate
wanted
it,
to do it
so
separate, so we're doing it.
that's already been motioned. Madam Supervisor, can we clarify the first one now? It just makes it, takes the gray out of the water, makes it a little clearer for us when we're doing minutes and going through things, so can we?
No, because I already made the motion.
But nobody supported it.
Well, I made the motion to lower the supermajority to a regular 4-3.
But I already have a motion and support.
All right.
I motion to accept and who supported that, I'm sorry.
Mark.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so restate your motion again.
My motion was to accept the raise as presented in the contract in front of us.
Okay. Yes, it was moved and supported. Any discussion?
I think that,
Are you ready for a roll call?
I don't think Chad deserves a raise because, I mean, he had a complaint that cost the township $20,000 in attorney's fees. That was not, there was no, I mean, it was a false accusation against one of the board members and a resident, 2 of the board members, I'm sorry, Jennifer. I don't think that he deserves a raise, personally.
Thank you for your opinion. Now let's take a vote.
Well, maybe I'm not done talking. And I think that we should actually have a performance review. We never had that. I would like to go over his contract with you guys.
I think you get a performance review all the time on Facebook. Yeah, I hear them all the time.
That's uncalled for.
No, it's true. I'm allowed to have my First Amendment right too to say what I want. Remember,
Go for
sometimes
it.
the truth hurts.
Not being put during a board meeting, though. It's uncalled for.
You guys do it all the time.
That's just my opinion, sorry.
And I have a motion and a second, so let's go vote.
Well, everybody, if nobody wants to.
We were in discussion. Once you make a motion and it's seconded, then it goes to the floor for discussion. So,
Any other discussion? I'm pour money all over Chad, but, you know, you wanna disregard the.
He's asking for
The deputy supervisor.
You asked for a 20% raise.
Cat fight.
You asked for a 20%
What
raise.
was that, $107,000, he's making to what is the?
Order.
Raise to 100 and what?
he has a master's, Leah, in many years of
What?
experience.
What do you want to change from 107 to what, 113? 110 a year?
Mr. Gordon, did you have something you'd like to say?
I actually prepared something I'd like to share if I can, but I'll wait if I have the floor.
If you're not interrupted, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. I think it's fitting that we're having this discussion during Thanksgiving week. A time when we pause and take stock of what we have in our lives and express the gratitude we have for it. I'm grateful to Mr. Young for his dedicated service to our township as manager. Mr. Young has been a township manager for 7 years now. During his tenure, He has proven time and time again to be an invaluable asset to this township board, consistently demonstrating exceptional knowledge, commitment, skill, and much-needed guidance. Under his management, we have seen tangible improvements in the township's organizational structure, community and economic development, and capital improvements, including just this year, the construction and opening of our Senior Enrichment Center. I don't think people fully understand just how quickly this center went from concept to a permanent building. Yes, a team of people was involved for sure, but Mr. Young's leadership was a major contributing factor. His ability to balance the demands of the day-to-day operations of this township, including serving as personnel director, labor contract negotiator, lead communicator with department heads and employees, and guidance counselor for this board, is truly commendable. His approachability and collaborative spirit have made him an effective leader, fostering a positive working environment both within the township office and throughout the broader community. And here's the best part. He's been able to do all of this during some rather turbulent times in the past year, excuse me. Mr. Young, I commend you on your ability to stay focused on what needs to be done for the township and not be distracted. It's actually quite remarkable. And as one speaking board member, I'm grateful. So yes, in light of these accomplishments and the increased responsibilities associated with managing the needs of a growing township, an adjustment to Mr. Young's compensation is well deserved. So a wage increase would not only reflect his ongoing contributions, but also ensure that we retain a leader who has consistently gone above and beyond to benefit Mundy Township. This adjustment will help maintain the quality of leadership that our township and this board have come to depend on. So yes, I will be voting yes on the motion.
Very well stated. Thank you, Mr. Gordon. You speak for myself also.
All right, any other discussion? Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, if you could do a roll call vote.
So again, the vote is to accept the raise as presented, correct? I want to make sure everybody understands it. Ms. Barker?
Yes.
Mr. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Harris? No. Mr. Sack? Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Ms. Staton? No. Ms. Bostwick? Yes. Pass. Thank you. 5-2.
I make a motion to lower the supermajority to regular or contract termination of township manager to preserve the checks and balances and prevent abuse of powers.
Well, it's not abuse of powers, but the point is nobody should have to have a supermajority to get voted out. Well, I don't see Chad doing anything but his job. You know, there's no reason to 5-2 vote.
Amen. I agree.
I completely support that.
Thank you. Can you
So,
second?
is that a support? Moved and supported. Any other discussion?
Mr. Sack, would you correct? Thank you.
Madam Clerk, if you could do a roll call
Let's
vote.
just go over what it is again, exactly.
Make a motion to lower the supermajority to a regular majority for termination of the township manager's contract.
Okay.
Madam Supervisor.
Yes, ma'am.
I support the majority, more of the supermajority, because when you're talking about termination and you're talking about the cost, that it would cost to our township to fire really any of our employees, there needs to be a major cause, and I think if there was a major cause, that we would have the supermajority anyway. I would think if there was a huge cause, that it would be a full vote, board vote. So I just don't understand why you wouldn't want that supermajority in that place, because if he was so egregious, if any employee was so egregious in what they did, then I think that that is warranted to have a supermajority in the first place. That's just my opinion.
Any other comments?
This isn't about Chad.
No, this is
But
about all employees.
this is about all employees, and all the other employees is actually the majority. That's the only problem I see with it. I mean,
I think it should be
If
for all.
he's not doing anything wrong, then he doesn't need a supermajority, so it's just, it's checks and balances, it's holding him accountable.
It is, but
Encouraging him to do the
Madam
right thing
Supervisor.
to be the servant to the community. That, he's actually serving at the pleasure of the board, but indirectly, he's serving the community through the board. So if the community's happy with it, you know, it's.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, so if the community's happy with it, Ms. Davis, I understand what you're saying, but it makes it very hard for someone, an employee, to do a job. When we have board members on this board, supervisor and other people, saying they want him fired. So when you say you have an employee you want fired, on social media and on a talk show, written, that's huge, so then it's.
She has a right.
And on.
She has a right, that's her.
Excuse me, I'm still talking freely, okay? Any of us in our job would want someone on there saying on social media.
We're his
and
boss.
on Facebook page.
What do bosses do? You hire, you fire.
You don't say you want that person
You're
fired.
for interrupting.
We're waiting for a lawsuit. Do you understand? We work for the township. The township gets sued. They're not gonna say, oh my God, Miss Dayton said that. No, they're gonna say the board. And we're gonna have people come to us and say, why did you let our township get sued for $300,000? No, we're part of a team.
We have a right to.
We have
to scrutinize.
Words have consequences.
We have to evaluate. We're
You
being
made it very clear
scrutinized.
before, even evaluation, how you feel. You made it very clear, that's not a fair evaluation.
It's not wrong to disagree and want to replace somebody as an employee.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor, it was seconded.
There is no
Everything lately has been about how everybody feels. It's how you feel. There has to be
Don't
laws
sue.
that are followed. It's not about our feelings. We have a
Okay.
job to do.
So there's a motion on the floor, it's been motioned and seconded. Madam Clerk, if you could do a roll call vote, please.
Yeah, Mr. Gordon,
no.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Sack,
Yes.
Mr. Ward,
Yes.
Ms. Dayton,
Yes.
Ms. Bostwick, no, Ms. Barker,
No.
passed 4-3.
Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
You guys are arguing about two different things. It's not that me or, well, I can't think of how, it's not that I think he's doing anything wrong, but my 5-2 isn't for anybody else, so.
And I understand that we have board members who've changed their vote now since before, it's kind of amazing.
I think all board members have the right to their vote. I'm not questioning that. I think to terminate an employee, a professional employee, should have a supermajority for everybody. I don't think it should be for one employee. I think it should be for all the employees, because if that.
You risk them going
something
rogue.
is that egregious, then I think that.
It's just too much power.
Okay.
Have we discussed all of the terms of Mr. Young's contract?
No, Madam Supervisor. If the question is that we want to have it for all employees, to be a supermajority, to terminate a professional employee, then I can make a motion that I want it to be for all professional employees, that it means a supermajority to terminate that, not just Mr. Young.
So everybody, that's my problem with it. How can Chad?
That's my motion, is that I want a motion now that all professional employees need a supermajority to be terminated. I just voted on all employees, not just Mr. Young.
And that wasn't something that was included in our board packet, we don't have paperwork on
That's
it.
just too much control. You need to allow the people to have the control.
While I appreciate your stance on it, I've made a motion, so if there is a second, then
Support. That just gives power to the administration.
how does that give power to anybody? We have the power, we are the board. I wanna make it fair for all professional employees, not just one employee.
Well, but we're all,
Because, because let's be honest, Mr. Young's not the only employee that you guys have gone after.
Well, you guys go after us. Look, she's got a recall going. I wonder who's bad.
That has nothing to do with me.
That's nothing to do with anybody on the board. Yeah, that's why you guys stalk us on the internet.
How damn it, you blocked? I'm blocked you guys blocked me.
I blocked you.
Madam Chair, I would really encourage the members of this board not to discuss political activities as part of the business meeting.
So, being that we don't have any resolutions in front of us for other
Motion on the
employees.
board and supervisor, you have to address it.
Well, here's the thing, we made a motion when we did my deputy supervisor's pay rate, and you guys said we couldn't do that, and it wasn't included, and then you made me take it back the following week.
Illegal.
Because it was illegal.
Well, this is the same thing you're doing, you're trying to make a motion for something that we don't have in front of us.
The board can act on this motion.
So, go ahead, Madam Clerk, go ahead and call the roll call vote.
Let us just make it clear, the motion one more time, so let's slow down everybody.
My motion is to change it from being just Mr. Young. I want to make it fair for all professional employees.
Who are the professional employees?
Everybody that works for the township.
The professional employees, not our appointees or
You're
any of
going
that.
rogue. Why don't you just calm down?
Calm down.
No, I'm not with you. I think you're just going a little bit crazy.
Ask me to clarify my motion.
Made a motion.
What her point is somebody would have to do something really wrong for us to fire them. I mean, if it's 5-2 for everybody, then it's fair. You know what I mean?
That's a tight grip on the administration. I think you're going rogue.
No, because we are the administration, so if it's 5-2 for everybody, then if they do something wrong,
That's my motion, 5-2 for all professional employees.
Madam Clerk, go ahead and call the roll call vote.
Can we discuss this just for a minute?
So just for clarification, nobody besides the board has hiring and firing power. I want to make that clear. We do have different contracts that cover different employees. My contract is a two-party agreement between the township and myself. We also have contracted employees in the Economic and Community Development Director. It's a two-party contract between the township and that position. We have another professional contract for the senior director, same setup. Then we have unionized administrative employees that are covered under a collective bargaining agreement. And then we have part-time employees on the administrative side, and we have firefighters that are covered under a collective bargaining agreement, and the fire chief, who is a non-unionized at-will employee. I would encourage the board, if you're going to consider this change, to have it cover the at-will professional employees and allow the CBA to prevail for unionized employees, because that does have a defined grievance procedure.
Okay, I will amend my, motion to what Mr. Young said. 'cause
I think that this is just thrown on us and we should have paperwork to study this before we decide on this.
we're talking about it right now. My question is, if it was a unionized employee
Correct.
that does something very wrong, they have to run a process, but we still all into the ones that, let's say, have a 5-2 years.
You could certainly do that. I'm giving you my administrative recommendations for the CBA.
You know what, I agree with Mr. Sack, fair is fair.
Fair is fair.
It's fair for
That's the
everybody.
only way I see it is fair.
I agree with Mr. Sack, I'm gonna say for all the employees, fair is fair, super majority in that.
Now, do you see how Chad can tell us he doesn't think that's the right way to do it, and we can say, I don't agree with you, Chad, but we'll talk about the next thing, you know what I mean? He doesn't have ultimate power over us, you have to remember that. But without him, we will just have any old supervisor that gets elected running the township. And unfortunately, these townships keep getting bigger and bigger. I don't want it, I don't want growth, I don't want none of that, but it happens. So where we're at, we need somebody that is consistent.
Because this is the allowing the growth, right? Yeah.
But we allow
Well,
the
you're
growth.
right,
Ultimately,
property.
that's on us. You keep forgetting that.
I would like to evaluate Chad's powers along with Jennifer's powers as far as her being the supervisor and her statutory duties. I think that his contract kind of, in my opinion, overlaps what Jennifer, she never in writing gave him the power that he has as far as her statutory duties. I think we need to review that. I think we need to review how it overlaps and allow Jennifer more power.
I think you should probably look into that, on how you do that.
Well, I think this board needs to look into it. I think we should do a performance evaluation, like it says in his contract, that we should do annually. We can ask to do that and see the difference between Jennifer and
I
Chad.
see him every day, and he does a wonderful job around there.
That's great. I mean, I know you love Chad, we all know that. I love Chad too. I don't like everything he's done. I'm a Christian, okay? I love people. I would like to see everybody in heaven.
I just disagreed.
Okay?
Respectfully, just now,
I disagree with, I can't. You guys hate me for disagreeing with him.
I just disagree with him.
Well, you guys don't want me to disagree with him.
I do if you do it respectfully, Leah.
Or whatever, your level of respect, you are a hypocrite. Because you just do the same thing.
Madam Clerk. Realize Mr. Young is an employee, and you can't tell your employee you want to fire, and you hate them.
Madam Clerk,
Please
do the roll call vote.
Okay,
You didn't ask me to speak though, so how am I supposed to know that?
I can't see you guys sometimes down here. I was waiting for Ms. Davis to get done. Okay? We need to slow it down.
Would you
for
like the
everybody,
floor?
And we have a motion on the floor, and it's for all professionals, correct?
All reasons.
Correct. Ms. Davis?
No.
Mr. Sack?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
No.
Ms. Staton? No. Ms. Bostwick, yes. Ms. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Gordon?
No.
Okay, we have it, yeah, thank you. 3, 2, 4.
Right, moving on to the sewer C-MOM 10-year master agreement.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. To the board, item B, as you just identified, is the CMOM agreement. This has been discussed a number of times, both throughout the preliminary and
I'm offering that opportunity, so I'll be making some adjustments on the December calendar for the township, and you will see the supervisor coffee hour pop up. My only question is, if anyone has a time frame that they would recommend, I greatly appreciate it. If anyone would like to submit a time frame for me, I greatly appreciate that. And then, moving on to myself, we've already addressed the Mr. Belser and Mr. Young's letter in the Township Communications, and that'll be coming back on the old business for our next board meeting. I did want to bring to the board's attention a couple of things that have transpired this week, in the past week. First being, we all know it, the dreaded letter from Comcast. So Comcast have price changes. In case anybody didn't know, Comcast rates are going up. So I'm just going to give you a basic idea. I've got a sheet here if anybody wants to come up and look at it after the board meeting, feel free. But I just wanted to make everybody aware, limited basic, what you were paying for Xfinity TV was $47.45. The new proposal rate going up on December 18th is going to be $54.75. And most of the other rates went up about the same significant value. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, that I did get that today. And then on another note, I would like to bring to the board's attention, at our Corridor Improvement Authority meeting this past week, we had a proposal that was brought up. Mr. Young had come in and spoke about the aerial truck request for the fire department and the need. We're starting in the planning development stage right now of how are we going to pay for that. And part of that was going to the Corridor Improvement Authority and asking them to set aside some funds toward that purchase. And there was a motion that was brought up. I did make the motion myself, and it was passed to set aside $200,000 out of the Corridor Improvement Authority Fund toward the purchase of the aerial truck for the fire department from the 2026 budget. So I know that will be coming to our board as well here shortly to ask for some fundage on that as well, along with, I believe, wasn't there grant money that was being requested?
Research.
Yes. So I know we're doing some research on that, but that aerial truck, I received a communication today from Mr. Young himself stating that the aerial truck was reaching the end of its term. It literally is like on its last leg. So it's definitely a purchase that we're going to need to make and confer on. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. We are making that adjustment, especially with all of these larger buildings like Costco and some of these larger hotels that we have in our communities. There's a need for it. It's not like we're just, driving a great big huge slider truck down the road to go to a house fire. There's an absolute need for this ladder truck. So I just wanted to make the board and all of the public members aware that that did get approved at the Corridor Improvement Authority. And then on myself, back to the supervisor coffee hour, my deputy supervisor, Dave Huffman, will be there as well. I encourage any of the board members, if you'd like to participate or come or ask questions or be a participant, feel free. I'm not trying to hold anybody out. It will take place here at the township office. And moving on from that, Clerk Boswick, I know you've got some historical information that you'd like to bring to the board today.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor, I do. Under the clerk's department, so many things fall, just not elections. They're also a keeper of history. And one of the wonderful things I think I mentioned a couple months ago, I had a phone call from a family out in Pennsylvania. I'm going to show you the here. Right here we have Mr. Lynch and his lovely wife Sue, and this was their daughter. They live in Pennsylvania. They called and said she is part of Mrs. Lynch, the Baldwin family, Baldwin Farms, the road named after them. They sold their house. They are just the loveliest couple after 60 years going through things that they've compiled and had wonderful heirlooms of things that some of it pertain to Mundy Township. They would like to know if they could have somehow we facilitate. Let's fast forward. I bring one of our historians of our township, Ms. Karen J. in, and we meet with them at the end of October. So they bring these wonderful artifacts. Now this lady and this gentleman, this couple, they three rode up from the west side of the state. They're all relatives. They haven't seen each other in years. So to sit back and watch them embrace and kiss and just get caught up on life was absolutely beautiful. This gentleman here is also part of her family, just a relative, and he's a teacher at Lake Fenton. And he lives local, and he's a wonderful man. What was his name? So Karen, do you have anything you want to add?
That's Harry Johnson from the Pioneer Association.
Yes. Do you have anything you want to add on that?
I brought with me tonight if anybody wants to look at it. They gave us a bunch of loose photos, and some of them weren't identified, some of them were. I have been able to, through doing research and using AI, identify some of them that weren't identified as to what family members they were. So we've made a little flip chart here with the pictures, and it talks about each person. There's Morgan Baldwin, and it gives the information about his history here. First settler, first township clerk in Mundy Township. and then his wife, and then there's family members. So if anybody wants to go through this, eventually when we get a historical area, this will go in there, so anyone will be able to go and view it and get the information on the history.
We're working on an area.
Ms. Bosworth, may I interject? Well, I mean, I hate to put anything negative on this, this is wonderful, but I mean, I'm wondering, how do you label a historical area? Like the mega site, there's a home across the street from me, was built in 1885. That's 160 years old, but yet they're gonna demolish that. So it's like, what are the steps to qualify to be part of the historians?
Ms. Davis, I don't know all the answers to that. I'm just telling this great story of these people from Baldwin Farms and Baldwin Road. They came and spoke to us, and I was thrilled to have their pictures, to have this amazing Bible that was how old?
1866.
1866. And to see inside in the weddings and the dates and the pictures. These are all families that are part of our history of how Mundy got. I was excited. I gotta be honest with you, before I was like, okay, they're coming. I just felt joyous when they left to get to talk to them, see what they brought. Again, it's not perfect, but we're gonna try to find an area, a display case in the hallway, put some pictures up, maybe start doing like every 6 months, something new out there of greatness of the township. Not perfect, but we're open to suggestions, so it was just wonderful, and we are working on that, so probably after the first of the year, some of this will be displayed in an area out in the township, and we'll have it in our newsletter, so people can come and take a look at it.
That's wonderful, thank you.
They were so sweet, you guys, are still, they were amazing.
So are we gonna need a motion for display case?
Yeah, and I wonder if Ms. Deering could help us with that. This lady, Karen, you know, because she's involved in the historical society, maybe you can help us figure out how, I mean, to preserve.
You have to go through the Michigan Historical Society.
Yeah, because there's a home across the street. I mean, I'm sure there's other.
The owner has to do it.
Oh, well, it's Maple Hill LLC.
The owner has to do it.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't be interested now, but it's just really a shame. All this wonderful history we have in Mundy Township and be preserved across the board.
Clerk
One little
Boswick,
piece at a time, we're trying.
Clerk Boswick, thank you very much for that and in the pictures. Was that included in in our newsletter?
Hey,
Yeah.
what a great segue.
It is in there.
Yeah, so a copy of the newsletter was included in the board packet. There is an article on that visit and some of the Baldwin family history, other familial connections. The newsletter is in the mail as we speak. Should be in mailboxes.
That was the pun I intended to do there. Treasurer Barker, did you have anything that you'd like to convey to the board?
My team is hard at work preparing the taxes that are getting ready to come out, unfortunately, yes, we're that time again.
No, we're asking
In the
taxes.
crowd or out there in the audience, if you haven't paid your taxes yet, I would suggest you get that in there and get it paid, everybody's paying a penalty that hasn't. There's a couple things that came up, I do want to address real quick, that came up over the weekend, and questions were forwarded to me and asked me about tax base on the mega site.
Yes.
And I just want to make it very clear that our tax base is actually increased due to the uncapping of the properties from when they sold, and also from the farmland, changing from farmland to actual residential property. There's actually more taxes being brought in, and I just want to make it clear, this is not support or against, it's just transparent from the treasurer's office, that not only are we collecting more taxes off that site right now, but that the FGEA paid all their taxes, every penny for every lot that they own. So they did not request any 503C exemptions or anything on any of that property, and it was all completely taxed. So just because that came up this weekend, I want to be very clear that the township has received all tax monies due, and there were no tax exemptions or anything given to them at this time, so just being totally transparent.
Do you think that that's gonna reoccur next year as well?
I am not a fortune teller, I'm just stating what the truth is today and what we're going on. Who knows what next year will bring? And then also I wanted to just point out, I know Supervisor Staten's on the board with me for the Metro Police Authority Board, but just letting the board know that they're gonna be getting some tasers and some equipment that is very needed. So, we voted to give them that money to make sure that our police department, it's not our police department, but the police department that we support, has the equipment that they need and that they're supported by the Metro Police Authority Board.
Absolutely, and I do want to iterate there. It was brought to our attention at that Metro Police Board meeting, the reason, and because we always ask, what's the reason, why do you all of a sudden want this new equipment? And the reason that we were given was 2 officers had tried to use their tasers and they malfunctioned.
Don't test them out because they got 15 other good ones,
and the fact that the ones that they were using were getting obsolete, and so it was just time to phase them completely out. So they are getting all the tasers. I believe it was up to 15 new tasers.
How many times can you tase before you have to get a new taser?
A lot, it's just a cartridge.
Right.
They replaced the cartridge after they did it.
All right, and then moving on, Treasurer Barker, do you have anything else that you'd like to?
No, that's all.
All right, thank you very much, Treasurer Barker. Strategic planning policy, seeing none, we'll move to the old business, the newsletter update. So you heard my pun, it's in the mail. We've got a copy of it here in our board packet. It was in the board packet. You can view it online or you can check your mailbox. I'm sure it's actually probably in your mailbox today. I did receive mine today. And then moving on to new business, we have a Christmas tree lighting. So this is the second ever Christmas tree lighting. It's planned for 12/15 of 2025. And I did have some notes on that. Let me double check here. I just want to tell everybody the right name.
While you look that up, Madam Supervisor, I just generally encourage any members of the board who want to participate more in depth than simply attending. If you have any requests or desire to be more fully engaged, you can reach out to Mr. Dietrich, the Economic and Community Development Director, and be happy to entertain and get you involved.
Yeah. So Mr. Dietrich, and I'm trying to find it here, but I don't think I'm going to find it here. So Mr. Dietrich did let us know that the person that would be doing the fire lighting, the tree lighting, excuse me. I'm not the fire department. The tree lighting, sorry about that. Here it is. It is actually from it's our state senator Cherry. It's one of their kids. He has a medical condition. I don't want to tell you what it is because I don't think I can remember exactly what it's called specifically. But he is going to be the one this year that is going to do our tree lighting. My recommendation was to have Mr. Jack Bowser do it. And I actually nominated him, and then Greg Dietrich came in the room. He said, "No, we've already got somebody." So I'm sorry, Jack. I tried.
That's all right.
I just want to.
Kind of donated the tree.
He did donate that tree. That's why I thought it would be only fitting for Mr. Bowser to do it. But so we got turned down. But the gentleman, the kid that is doing it, I greatly appreciate that. So my question, and I brought this up to Mr. Young here in our past meeting when we were going over the agenda, is are we going to put any more on the tree other than just some rinky-dinky lights? Because last year it was just like some lights and they were kind of sprawled and it was just kind of plain. So I
take in suggestions if you have any preferred lights.
I was thinking, like the hot chocolate bar. at the facilities there to open it up and to make hot chocolate and hand it out for free. I'll buy the hot chocolate, if anybody's worried. I'll put the bill for some chocolate, marshmallows, and cups. I'm not worried about that, but I just wanted to bring it to the attention. Maybe some bulbs on the tree, if we could find like some plastic bulbs. I know everybody said talk to Greg, talk to Greg.
Financially, what we're trying to spend.
But I just thought I'd throw that out there, so I don't know if anybody's gonna reach out and talk to Greg, ask him if they're gonna put any more on the tree other than some lights. Just a thought. It'd be nice to look at something. Anybody could look at lights, like drive down the road, look at lights.
Not just one, more than one color, red, white, and blue.
Right. And then moving on to public comments, you have 2 minutes per person. You can speak on anything that you desire. Any public comments? Remember, we're not open Thursday.
No doubt again, 5141 Maple Avenue. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, Flint, Tennessee Economic Alliance, on their website, they have 80 acres proposed for development that would be on the south side of Jennings, I guess, east, or south side of Hill, east side of Jennings. What I find really strange about this, I stumbled across that on November 13th, and as soon as I put it on the no website page, they pulled it down from their listing. But it did say, next door to the new Megasite semiconductor, next to the new Costco east side of the site, Lake Fenton Schools and School of Choice, to Grand Blanc, I can't see, and Sports Creek, half mile from US 23 and Hill Road exit. Township is pro-residential development, utilities on site. Again, this was on the Flint, Tennessee Economic Alliance page. They have since pulled that down. It's 80 acres. I don't know what it's about, but I'm just bringing it to your attention. Just because it says next door to the new Megasite development. Pardon?
She wanna know the location.
Oh, it's on Hill Road. It would be on the south side of Hill Road, east of Jennings. So the opposite side, on the fire department side, on the other side of Jennings.
We can look and see who owns it.
So, yeah, I'm not sure who owns it, but the thing that sparked an interest in me was next door to the new semiconductor plant. When I posted it, they
I
pulled
think
it
that's
right
owned
out.
by Kubiak.
Yeah, I'm not sure who owns it. So that's something that I just wanted to bring to your attention, that they did have that listed in their development. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Loiser. Any other public comments?
My name is Joe Roberts. I have a tendency to observe what's going on up here in front. And lately, I've seen utter disrespect for the chair when she tries to get control of the board. She takes the gavel down and she hits it. But some people just keep ignoring that. I think you as trustees need to respect that position for her being the chairperson. And like I said, on Judgment Day, we're judged by the Almighty. When you're sitting up there, you're judged by public opinion. And when you're having conversation with one person to another person, everybody observes how that person is talking and how conversation on the other end of the aisle. We need to respect one another. We don't need to throw temper tantrums if you don't agree. We need to respect one another. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Robert. Any other public comments?
I'm just jeopardy for this. Oh, Cody Melvin, 7451. awesome. You guys are hilarious. I mean, other than, you know, a bunch of eye rolling and stuff like that. Mr. Ward, how in the world could you miss two of these meetings and not, dude, this is hilarious. This is, I mean, y'all are gonna, anyway, yeah, y'all can do for a little bit more respect and professionalism, and I think that goes across the board with pretty much everybody. So, just, you know, too bad this darn Lakeside guys all sprayed up and fired up and irritated one another, because that, well, that just really sticks in our craw, doesn't it? If it wasn't for that, everything would be okay, right? Well, we gotta deal with it, but I guess we should deal with each other, like I said, a little more professional. But, gosh, if y'all do that, then the next time I come here, I'm gonna want to stay home and watch Jeopardy.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Any other public comments?
I'll talk quick, I know I got a couple minutes. I agree with, but I'm not gonna reiterate the consensus on how we've been acting tonight. I can see, where others have come from, I totally agree with them. But one thing I do wanna say, a couple things I wanna say, Jeff, I don't know if I like you or not, but I can look outside looking in, you're really good at your job. So I'm not gonna say that. Also, I want to bring up I've got actually what Mr. Robertson said in previous meetings or the past summer, as well as some things that actually Mark, what you said, still echoing in my memory. Especially in light of it being Thanksgiving. All of the mega site business aside, all the bickering, frustrations, social media, whatever aside, each of you, Corey, Mel, Zach, Chad, Jennifer, Kyle, Leah, Mark, even you, Jack, coming from someone who has formerly held political office, it's a thankless job. Some of you I voted for, some of you I voted against. But on top of it all, that all aside, thank you to all of you taking this position, dealing with a lot of the crap that comes with it, and whether it be from internal, external, what have you, it's a thankless job. It's a frustrating job. It's a stressful job. And despite what others say, at least coming from one person, I don't always agree with you. Sometimes I'm ardently against what you're voting on, what you're saying, the stance you take. Sometimes I'm in complete agreement. Regardless, that aside, from the human side of things, especially because it is Thanksgiving week, thank you for putting yourself out there and dealing with all the stuff.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nathan. Appreciate you being so candid and transparent. Any other public comment? Remember, we're closed Thursday. Take your turkey out.
Joanne Mindy, Marsac Drive. My observations of tonight's meeting, I hate to underscore the fact that the actions by what has been shown by the board and also kind of what gets reiterated by the audience were slightly less than professional. There were degrading comments about someone working on the railroad and not being an attorney. There seemed to be less respect for people's conversation, their ability to finish a sentence or a motion before discussion is asked for. This kind of sets the tone for how the audience then reacts to things that you are voting on. Accusing board members of promoting a recall petition. Those are just not cool things to say. Anyone can file a recall petition. They have the right to do that as long as they follow appropriate procedures before Genesee Board of the county. So it's in their prerogative. It gets approved by the petitioner board, then they can go ahead with it, and it's up to the voters to decide. I am thankful that this meeting is actually going to be less than 2 hours. And I will say that it's difficult to separate the issues of passion and feelings versus facts and objectivity. And not to gloat, but I want to say that every time I come to this, I will be forever passionate about not wanting the mega site development here. But I will do that with substantive facts, not just because I don't want it, I don't like it, and it's not fair. I have always presented facts on toxicity, EPA regulations, ownership of property, where the dividing line becomes. What we say, what the board says, and how they say it affects greatly as to how your motions are represented and how they are voted on. There's a very intelligent way of approaching this mega site. And if we approach it in a very intelligent way, I'm confident that it won't happen.
Thank you, Ms. Mindy. Any other public comments?
Good evening, Chad Maury again, 5215 Cook Road. I just want to make one quick point. I believe it's possibly important as you all review the two letters that was submitted in your board packet this evening regarding the potential conflict of interest that happened on the Planning Commission. On October 14th on the agenda, the natural resource analysis amendment that was brought by application to the Planning Commission. I just want to make the point that it defines the site. The applicant is Maple Hill LLC, and it just defines the site very broadly, I would assume. Clearing on site defined by Linden, Hill, Elms, and Maple Roads. So to me, the potential commissioner who had the conflict of interest, their home was sold within this site. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention. One other thing I wanted to bring to the attention to the board this evening regarding, this defined site of basically 2 square sections defined by those roads. There are landowners, private landowners, Mundy Township residents, that have not sold their property to Maple Hill LLC. So, not unless the application had exactly the parcel numbers on, their application, this natural resource analysis amendment was was very broad. That's what I get out of it. It was a very, very broad application, allowing them to basically clear trees in both sections. Very little protection other than the private, landowners that have equipment running right up to the property lines, fences getting tore down, stay up all night long worrying about if their animals are going to get loose. I mean, this is just what people have to deal with now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maury. Any other public comment? Any other public comment?
My name is Julie Aslin, and yes, I was kind of disappointed in all the disagreements tonight. And I do hope that everything can get worked out and people get along with each other. And I wanted to, this mega site thing, it's terrible. I noticed more trees are getting ripped out, just our whole environment. And they're just tearing these houses out, and they still don't have any development coming in. And I don't know why they're jumping on this and reacting, because I'm thinking, what if it doesn't happen? What's gonna happen if, all this, no houses or anything, and then, the taxes too. I know it's gonna affect the taxes eventually. I know people said that, got more tax revenue, but there's gonna be a loss, with all this stuff. And then they promise all these jobs. There's no guarantee how many jobs will happen. I hear other places saying, oh, we're gonna get thousands and thousands. Well, they don't get that many. And they fail to tell us that it's not gonna be just people, it would be robots, artificial intelligence, and all this stuff. They're not going to have just people working. Because a robot, you don't have to pay him, he can work 24/7. And, they just make all these promises to us, making it sound fantastic when we know better. I've had other situations about people developing, they made all these promises and it didn't happen. Like the subdivision next door to us, they're not taking care of the ponds or anything. They promise, oh, beautiful this, beautiful that, and it just isn't happening. And so, yes, I'm really getting tired of hearing all these empty promises these people are making. It's just a bunch of baloney. I always wanted I want the truth. I don't care about somebody sugarcoating anything and saying, oh, this is gonna be fantastic, because I know it won't be. And then the thing with Tyler, anytime he would come to talk, then he'd leave. You couldn't even ask him anything. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Seeing no further public comments, we'll close public comments. We'll open up to board member concerns. Does the board members have any concerns that have not been discussed?
Madam Supervisor, I just have a few things. So to get information out to our residents, we've developed a couple years ago the newsletter. So that comes quarterly, so you can only put so much in there. But we're trying to keep updated our social media Facebook page. If you're watching by Zoom or here, it's Charter of Mundy Township.
Charter Township of Mundy.
Yeah, I know, I get confused. Say it again.
Charter Township of
Thank
Mundy.
you, Charter Township of Mundy. There's a few Mundy ones, they are not from the township. So when we get information on road closings, things like that, there's a few of us trying to work to keep that updated. It's not very easy, but to get that, otherwise it's hard to get information out to our residents. So please, if you're on social media, please join that site. Also the newsletter, we try to get information out on that. So that's it. Social media can be a wonderful thing, or it can be a scary thing, and I think facts matter. We have to be very careful as leaders here that we get on sites and spew misinformation and confuse people that aren't residents, people that are residents. We get on with things about the fire board chief at Grand Blanc or Clayton Township Police. Facts matter. We as a board need to stay in our lane of Mundy Township. This is who we represent, not all over the place at Genesee County. Thank you.
I'd like the board to recognize the fact that this is really a psychological infringement. It's like an invasion to the residents. And it's a difficult time for the township and for us to be, pretending like there's no emotion involved is ridiculous. And it would be nice if a corporation is going to invade a community that there could be maybe offering of counseling or something for the community in regards to how you cope with losing your neighbors and watching the trees and it's like you're being gutted. Every day it's a whole different place, and if you live around it, you see it differently and you're affected differently. So I would just really like the board to recognize that there is an emotion involved and a passion involved, and not to disregard that, and not just be, oh, it's all facts and all this, because these facts change according to who you speak to or read about. That's all I have to say.
Any other board member concerns?
Madam Supervisor, there's nothing from the board. I'd like to address a few things that were brought up by public comment, and then we do a closing thought of my own. I'll try to rip through them real quick, because I know Miss Mandy in particular wanted to get out here. Ms. Jernigan asked a few questions at the beginning of the meeting. How many residents are on wells? Generally speaking, back of the napkin household math, about 70% of Mundy Township properties are on wells. Who owns property if Figia, or in this case Maple Hill, grant terms are not met? My understanding, and please remember the township is not party to this grant, but my understanding is the right of succession or refusal following Figia is the state. So the state of Michigan, if the grant terms were not fulfilled, would assume ownership of any properties that Maple Hill LLC is purchasing with the grant funding the state has given them. Can the township nullify the grant between Maple Hill LLC and the state? No, we're not a party to that grant. It's a grant between the state of Michigan and Maple Hill LLC, specifically through the Michigan Strategic Fund. Would the board have a say if there were no overlay district in place? It's a very nuanced answer to that question. Generally speaking, the board can have a say in decisions about things like rezonings, or in the future you're going to see what's referred to as a PDP, a planned development project, come to the board. Costco, for instance, was developed under a PDP agreement. But generally speaking, if you're referring to a site plan agreement or a special land use approval, this body plays no role in those considerations. When the overlay district was developed, specific language was inserted into it in order to allow the local elected board of trustees to have the final say in special land use approval and any conditions that would be tied to the approval. And that means the right to refuse a special land use as well. Lacking the overlay district, any special land use consideration would strictly go before the planning commission, which is an appointed body, not an elected body. And I can tell you, as institutional memory involved in that process and the development of that language, it was a very purposeful decision to include that special land use must go before the board of trustees in order to enable the local elected body to make that decision. It's a very important nuance and a very powerful piece of the overlay regulations. Nathan asked about snow fencing on Linden Road and the south side of the site. Just big, long, or short, but specific answer. The township doesn't own or have any maintenance obligations over public roads. That all falls to Genesee County Road Commission. Their maintenance superintendent for this geography is the one who decides where that snow fence goes. I'm sure you've seen it on the south side hill over by the airport. I will request and let them know that we've got a community request for that to be expanded in that area. Want to be really clear, it's not a decision we make, but we'll do what we can to push it and get it in place. Mr. Ludwig brought up another property listing by Figia on their website. Very technical answer. Follow along with me. The Flint Genesee Economic Alliance is the designated economic development organization, or EDO, for all of Genesee County. What that means is, you've heard Tyler say it before, their mission is to bring businesses, either recruit or retain businesses to come to Genesee County or stay in Genesee County, ergo developing the economy. That means they work with private property owners across the county, primarily as a site selecting tool to market and promote development of private property owners that are seeking to sell properties that would fit the bill of whether it be residential subdivisions, industrial properties, etc. They're a private entity, they work with private property owners. They've got sites all across the county, including various ones in Mundy Township on their website. That does not mean that's an endorsement by the township. It does not mean the township is giving pre-approval for anything. It simply means they've identified a property owner that's interested in selling their property, and they're marketing what it might be available in terms of use. So mega-site aside, they have a much larger role across Genesee County. We've got hundreds of properties across Genesee County listed on their website. The question of Mr. Moore, you brought up the generalized identification of the geographic area for the land clearing application. I've addressed this in the past as well. Much like this board, the information that goes before the Planning Commission, what they receive is much more detailed than what is generally listed on the agenda for publication and what the general public, may view and perceive from that publication. The reason it was listed the way that it was, frankly, is because they own such a sporadic number of different parcels. Traditionally, you would see a specific parcel ID number followed by a more specific, not quite a legal description, but general description of the properties. This one is so broad and vast, and it zigzags all around. It was impossible to list that on that 1 or 2 page agenda, which is why you have that generalized area. But the information that the Planning Commission received, much more specifically detailed which parcels were incorporated in that application. And this is a really technical but important point. The application was not for a site plan, it was not for a special land use application, it was for a zoning permit. And the only reason it was before the Planning Commission was as a check and balance. We love that, right? Checks and balances. A zoning permit in almost every other instance by our zoning ordinance is an administrative review and approval. Because in this instance, we're talking about such a substantial tract of potentially impacted property and number of qualified natural resources, that zoning permit application for land clearing is kicked over to the Planning Commission for them to review and make a determination of zoning ordinance compliance. Not a site plan approval, not a special land use approval, but rather than relying strictly on bureaucrats, does the appointed representative body of community members agree or determine that that application was compliant with zoning ordinance requirements? And that's what was determined. It involved various different parcels, some larger than others. It was not for that entire 2 square miles. As you mentioned, there are property owners that are not Maple Hill in those 2 square miles. Their properties are not affected or not in approval for Maple Hill to go work on. I hope that addressed some of Ms. Aslan's concerns as well. You brought up the land clearing, right? That unfortunately private property owners have a right to do things on their property. There are certain instances where the township, by way of the zoning ordinance, can impose certain restrictions. If in this instance, because of the requirements of the zoning ordinance, in a voluntary agreement by Maple Hill LLC, they do not have a development come to fruition by a certain line in the date statement as part of that zoning application approval for the land clearing, the township will actually collect on a bond, a $3 million bond, to facilitate replacement of those trees in accordance with zoning ordinance requirements. Unless Maple Hill does that themselves. So they can either, if the writing's on the wall, they're not gonna have a potential project in place by the time that timeline expires, they can move to do that tree replacement themselves. If they fail to do that, the township collects on that bond and we'll have a large tree planting project to undertake. Finally, spirit of Thanksgiving, I want to congratulate this board and acknowledge you are the elected leadership of this community. And believe it or not, you've been in your roles in this term for more than a year now. So as administrator and resident in this community, thank you for your service. As I mentioned, sometimes it's relatively thankless. I've experienced all of that emotional roller coaster right alongside you. But I've said it publicly in numerous different forums. I have the utmost respect for anybody who's willing to put their name on a ballot, not for me. So thank you and congratulations on completing the first year of your term.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Any other board members have any concerns that they'd like to discuss real quick? No? All right, seeing no other discussions come up, I believe we're getting a new car wash. Am I right?
We got a plan, that doesn't mean they'll ever break ground on it.
There's another car wash.
It was a site plan and special land use approval for a car wash approved.
Coming to the Hill Road area.
There's initial site plan approval.
Yeah. So just to be aware, and I just want to make everyone aware, There is a proposal, it's coming out from the Flint Township side. Now, I know we're not in Flint Township, but they are proposing to build a 260 home unit off of Maple Road. Directly right about halfway down Maple Road between Elms and Linden. And 168 of those units are going to be rentals for low income. Adjusted income was the specific way they worded it. And the rest of them are going to be properties owned. So I just wanted to make mention that we've got other housing development going in around the proposed 2 square mile radius of the location. Just want to bring that to everybody's attention. And if you haven't done so already, go home, take your turkey out. We are not open Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Praise Jesus. Praise God. Please have a good week. Drive safe. The deer are out. They're shooting them as we're probably speaking. So be careful. Drive safe. Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Don't everybody fight for it at once. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night. And don't forget, our next board meeting is at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Always a shit show here.
Oh my gosh.
Whether it be the citizens or the board members, it's always funny every time I come.
That was more entertaining than. I'll tell you what. America's first video was gonna.
It's like watching an episode of Jerry Springer. You guys have way too much fun up there.
I know it. Where can I find your video?
Michigan Constitutional Crusader on YouTube.
Okay, I'll have to put that in my phone.
Happy Thanksgiving, Leah.
You too, sweetie. God bless you.
God bless you too. God bless my
All right, so I'm gonna have to get this right now.
Thanksgiving.
You too.
You too. Michigan.
Constitutional Crusader.
I think I've seen your post before.
Yeah, I've been here before.
I think I posted it and got really in trouble one time. And I actually got thrown off of a platform.
Really?
Because of the conversation that ensued afterwards.
Oh, jeez.
So you're on Facebook?
YouTube and Facebook, actually. But I'll be posting this on YouTube.
Oh, okay. All right, I will. It didn't take me directly to you.
That's weird. Usually it's the first thing that pops
I'll
up.
go to this one. So, yeah, it's a lot of drama here because of the mega site, unfortunately.
And they still don't know what they're doing with the site. They just...
Yeah, they just come and it's the state. They, it's the bureaucrats that all vote yes for Gretchen Whitmer's.
Wretched Witless, you mean?
Yeah. Her bidding, her pet projects.
Right. There you go. That's me.
I got you. I'm joining.
Cool.
Yeah, they all vote unanimously to use our tax dollars for their big projects. And we don't get a say. We go and we tell them all these, factual things, how wrong it is, but yet it goes in one ear and out the other. It's like you never said
I think
anything.
it's bullshit. They're tearing any trees out or houses for that matter until they have something in
I
a
know.
building
What about the Green New
plan.
Deal? That's the Green New Deal. Keep the trees there until you find out. That would be the wisest thing.
Like that old house you're talking about. They shouldn't be knocking that shit down.
No.
Unless they have a site plan ready.
I know, but you have to qualify for historical, you have to have certain requirements. Somebody famous has to, have lived there or something, that's what they say.
Oh no, it just has to be of a certain age. And you can get historical protection
well, I would say
for it.
160 years is
That's
automatic.
absolutely. If the owner does it.
But I have already addressed the owner on it, and they're like, oh no, we already did our historical review survey, and none of the houses around there qualify, so it's like they just get away with it. It's like they know the laws and they tweak them in their favor.
Yep.
So, well, happy Thanksgiving.
Yep, happy
I'm
Thanksgiving.
Davis. Nice to meet you.
I'm Matt.
Yep.
They call me Tater Salad.
All right. Take care.
Yep, have a good one.
Who's the Lions game is all. We made that mistake last year. We started eating before we missed the end of the
It's true.
I mean, if it's a game like Sunday afternoons, you wouldn't want to miss any of it.
Good about yourself.
Okay. I thought
It
it might
doesn't
have
say
said,
Trump.
No, I thought it might have said Marines or something.
Oh, no.
Get my blood pressure down, so I quit. Now I'm back to it.
Right. Well, have a good one.
You too, thanks. How's it going?
It's going.
Good.
That was a fun one.
Absolutely. It's always entertaining every time I come.
Right?
You too. All right, and we're out of here.